Hey guys, Rod Reverend here. Welcome to the channel. So glad you joined us today. We want to get down to the answer to the question, what are my options? And you can tell by the thumbnail that we're talking about the engine bay. Very popular today are what's called a resto-mod. And that's basically taking your car or truck as it was originally from the factory, swapping a bunch of stuff out, making a bunch of updates, a bunch of changes, changing everything up from original, customizations mechanically, maybe electrically, accessory-wise, all of that. All those things are great. We all want the comfort features and things that we never had from the factory, maybe back in the 50s and 60s. But I want to go through this with you because a lot of guys think the best thing to do is to swap out their engine. Now, subscribers to this channel will know that the feature car here for the channel is a 1955 Ford Fairlane Club sedan that I've owned since I was 16 years old. I dare say 80% of the videos that are on the channel have to do with this car. Now, before I give you my advice on what would be best to do for your car and things you ought to consider, let's go through the tale of two projects. And basically, we're going to visit this channel first, and I've got some video clips here. I do not know this guy that owns the channel. We've never communicated to each other, but this guy picked up a pretty decent 56 Ford project, and I think it's something that's been in the family for a while, something he wanted to do for his wife. And his whole idea when he began was to take the Y-block Ford V8 engine out and look at swapping in an LS motor. Now, what's funny, if you go through his YouTube channel, and I've got the link down here in the description, I hope you'll visit the guy, subscribe, support him. All of us are trying to do projects and everything else. We need to be supportive of each other. But anyway, he got slammed on YouTube because he was putting this LS engine, and he finally gave in to all the flack from all of us Ford guys. I wasn't a guy giving him flack, but anyway. And then he decided, he came back with another video or two to talk about how he was going to keep the Y-block. He was going to build that up. He had seen the light. He was going to keep the engine. And then just recently, he put out another video that says he found a small block, I think it's a 351 Windsor engine that he's going to put in the engine bay. He's just been going back and forth, flopping around about a decision about what he's going to put in the car. I have no idea about how much money he's spent, and that's between him and his wife and the car. And to be frank, he can do what he wants to do. It's his car. It's not a problem. What does it matter what I say? And by the way, let me say that to you. It's your vehicle. You're paying the freight. You're paying for whatever happens with this thing, what you put into the car. It's on your dime. Who gives a rip what anybody else says? But secondly, here's another guy that just put out a quality video on the Y-block. You can see this block is bare. Now, I don't know this guy either. I've not reached out to him. But he's kind of going through a little bit of a series here of putting the Y-block back into the Thunderbird that he owns. We're going to try to follow this. And if you're a subscriber here, you haven't subscribed yet, I want to encourage you to do so because we're having our own build for this car of a 292 block that we're building out to 342 cubic inches. Obviously, there's some boring, there's some stroking going on. We've got a separate series on that. I'm hooking up with Tim McMaster up in Hanford, California, and I hope that you'll take a look at the links in the description below and give a shout out to Tim maybe on his website or on his YouTube channel. Look him up. He's also on Facebook as well. Tim knows his stuff when it comes to Y-blocks. At any rate, I want to encourage you to consider this because these are two polar opposites here with one guy doing a build. He's now gone back to, or he's on his third decision of the engine he's going to use. The other guy is locked in to building up a Y-block. He's already had it bored. He already had it cleaned up from the machine shop. It's already back. He's rolling through everything. Now, when you and I consider what engine should power the car or truck that we're going to be driving, maybe we're going to drive it every day. We're going to drive it to work, drive it to the office, maybe to the car shows, maybe to the track. I don't know. Everything else that we do, church and everything else that we do with our cars and trucks, that's great. But we think about the power plant, and a lot of guys, for some reason, go right over top of the Y-block. Here on the channel, we make no bones about it. We really encourage you to consider keeping the Y-block Ford V8 engine in your engine bay and let that thing power your car and truck from here to kingdom come. Now, if you got a 50s or 60s Ford car or truck that originally came with the Y-block, I want to encourage you to keep that engine in the engine bay. You're going to be so happy that you did. Here's the first reason why. Number one, when you get into swaps, you get into a lot of parts. You get into a lot of interchanges. You get into a lot of money you're going to be spending on adapters for a transmission, motor mounts. How are you going to figure out how to run your linkage? You get into so many different things. The wiring harness. I could go through a whole list of things that you're going to have to do to swap in that engine into the engine bay. You also got to figure out what you're going to do with the Y block that you took out of it. Now, some of that, you may have room, and that may not be an issue. If you ever go to sell the car or truck, you can just send that along with it. That's fine. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to end up spending a whole lot more money. And I get what happens. Guys look at a Y block and they think, man, it's going to cost a lot of money to rebuild this. I got to go down to the machine shop, get it bored, get the whole thing run through, get the crankshaft ground, everything else. I get it. There is some expense to getting machine work done. However, have you flipped through a Speedway catalog? Have you flipped through a JAGS catalog lately and found out how much these crate motors are running right now? Do yourself a favor, go through there and find out how much they are. Compare that to the cost of what it would be with your local machinist. Now, I do get it here too. Sometimes we have an issue trying to find a local machinist. I've run into that myself. There's some guys where I lived in the past that didn't know the Y block very well, so trying to talk to them and get some things done became very interesting. But this leads me to the second reason why I think you ought to keep your Y block. There's more information out there than you really know exists. I want to encourage you to visit Ted Eaton's site, EatonBalancing.com, or maybe go to John Mummert's YouTube channel or Tim McMaster's YouTube channel. I've got links in the description below here. You can check everything out. Also, there's some great books that are available out there. Charlie Morris has a wonderful book on rebuilding the Y-block Ford engine, and then so does James Eichmann. He wrote this book in the early 80s. It's kind of a classic. For many years, Bruce Young had put out the Y-block magazine. Currently, I think there's one more issue that may be coming out very soon. I think that's going to be it for Bruce, but a lot of times you can find those things on the Ford Barn, the Y-Blocks Forever forum, sometime on Facebook Marketplace. Also, the Y-Block Facebook group, which has a very large following. There's actually more than just the Y-Block Facebook group. I think there's a couple more that maybe Y-Blocks Rule, or it's Y-Block 272, 92, and 312, and just some different things that are out there. There's a lot of information out there to help you build your Y-Block Ford V8. We got a lot of stuff here on this channel at Hot Rod Reverend. It's grown over the last year. It's been a real big help to you. As you can tell, we're building a 342 cubic inch Y-block for my 1955 Ford Fairlane Club sedan. Tim McMaster's helped me out with that. It is looking great. We're waiting on rods right now, but listen, I'm going to tell you, if you look at the links in the description, we've got all the build series going on. I want to encourage you to really consider keeping your Y-block because there's more information out there than probably what you're aware of. If you spend some time doing some research on the internet, you find out what I'm saying is very true. Hey guys, a real quick commercial here. Give us just a minute. I want to tell you about these two thick manuals that I have for sale on the website and also the engine manual from Ford. Hang on. Hey guys, Hot Rod Reverend here. I've got the best option for you, the best way you can spend $20 on your project if you own a 1949 to a 1959 Ford passenger car, and that is this. I've got both of these manuals. Now, these are almost 1,000 pages long. These are the Ford parts manuals. Now, this edition is 1964. I've got the text catalog that has all of the part numbers, what the parts are named, what they're called. It's all organized very well. And then, of course, I've also got the book that has all of the illustrations in it. This is for everything, body parts, mechanicals, trim. A lot of questions get answered by these books, and the great, wonderful thing about this is that what you can do, you can print this off online. Let me show you how this works here on the website. What you do is you go to the website here. I'll take you through the process. You see the listing here on my website, hotrodreverend.com, in the shop. When you click on this and you determine, hey, I'm going to buy this, you pay $20. What happens is you get a link that is sent to you to download these files. Now, I've got more than just these two books. I'll talk about that in a minute. But you get these books. These are the anchors. These are the best part, I guess I should say, of getting this. So what happens is you download all the files with that link. It's a zip file. That means it's compressed. You have to unzip it, put it in a folder on your computer so you can access it later on. Now, these are both in what's called a PDF. Basically, that means this is organized, and what you can do is just scroll through the pages, and you can click on any page you want. You can zoom in, zoom out.
The wonderful thing about this is that instead of using original manuals and paying a hefty price and dirtying up different things or whatever you might need is real bulky, you can just print off the page that you need, take this with you to the garage, and work on whatever you want. When you're done, take the paper and just throw it away. It's not a problem. Secondly, if you're going to a swap meet, this is just invaluable information here. What you can do is print off a page of part numbers that you might need, and you can use these part numbers as a reference. If you need illustrations, of course, you can print those off. But again, once you're done with this, hey, just take it and throw it away. It's not a problem. You don't have to worry about ruining or damaging your original manuals because you now got it in a digital file format. Also included in this download is Ford's late 50s engine manual. Now, there are a lot of pages to this, and you can see here, I think there's almost 100 or so. I'll put this up here on the screen for you. This is just a sample page at the beginning. You've got the 6-cylinder, of course, that's in this. You've got the early FE engine that's in this, and of course, what we feature here on HotRodReverend.com and on the channel is the Y block as well. These are very good pages, specifics, updates, both in these manuals from 1964 and also in the engine manual. Also in the download are a lot of pictures, a lot of freebies, a lot of other things. There's some Paxton McCulloch information on there, the supercharger. There's the overdrive transmission, the 3-speed overdrive, the Borg Warner, the 259s and the T85s that came out there in the 50s. There's some great information on that. Lots of tech that you can download and print off whatever you need. I guarantee you this is the best way to spend $20 on your project in the garage. You can't go wrong by getting a hold of these digital files. Buy them today.
The next reason I think you ought to keep your Y-block Ford V8 in your engine bay is because of parts availability. A lot of guys don't know, you can really go to rockauto.com and buy quite a bit of parts for your Y-block Ford. Just last year, I bought intake and exhaust valves through rockauto.com for my ECZG heads that I have. Those are the best heads that Ford made in 1957 through 59. Best compression, obviously, largest valve, all those kinds of things. You can get push rod. You can get so many different engine parts just from rockauto.com. Notwithstanding, there's also Napa and AutoZone, Advanced Auto, and O'Reilly's. There's all kinds of parts stores that are out there that still can get you quality parts for the Y-block Ford V8. In addition to those guys over the counter, you've also got restoration companies that are making parts. You also have parts that are just now being manufactured brand new. Just this past year, we got a brand new oil pan gasket made completely of silicone. No sealer needed. It's reusable. It's great. I'm partnering with Real Gaskets Tennessee. We're looking at getting valve cover gaskets in silicone reproduced. The Valley pan as well. You can get a full set from Felpro, from Best Gasket, Victor as well. Listen, parts are out there, and even the new parts that are being cast or that being made, just every couple of months, something else is coming our way. Recently, the 57 4-barrel intake manifold was just cast in aluminum, and an outfit in Australia kind of set this up, and I did a review of this. The link is in the description below, and you can watch that video there. It kind of runs you through the difference between the new casting and the original cast iron intake in 57. But if you're not on the channel, if you're not in the Y-block Facebook group, if you're not around some guys that know some of this stuff, maybe here Hot Rod Reverend or our channel, I don't know, you're not going to get this information. But boy, stay plugged in. That's why number one is so important, to be knowledgeable and to do your research. Secondly is just to know that there are a lot of parts now available with the Y-block Ford V8. I've also got a link in the description here for John Mummer and all the parts that he sells. Now, one of the things about John does not sell parts through a normal website and getting a checkout cart and all that kind of thing, running through with a credit card. You do have to call to make orders down there, but John always listening to a price sheet. It may take you a while to get through because John is a machinist. He's doing work, but I guarantee you get quality parts there. All that information is in the description below, and if you're looking for high-performance parts especially, you can contact guys like John Mummer, Ted Eaton, and Tim McMaster. Now, in addition to high performance parts, these guys have also got your OEM parts as well that'll just give you a stock rebuild. Next reason I think you ought to keep the Y-block in your engine bay is because when you pop the hood and you're around a group of people, these days a lot of folks have no idea what you're running. They see that distributor in the back of the block and they think it might be a small block Chevrolet, but the distributor's kind of cocked to the side, so it's not exactly, doesn't look exactly like that, and there's some nuances that make it a little bit different because you've got the air gap where you got the intake manifold and the valley pan that are separated there. A lot of different unique things about the Y-block, especially those horizontal intake runners that a lot of people complain about that actually flow quite well. You're really talking about an engine that's very unique to the 50s and the early 60s that just screams of the era, just screams classic car. I want to encourage you to consider keeping the Y-block in there just for the cool factor. There's nothing like 3 deuces sitting on top of a Y-block, or even the valve covers and a lot of the accessories and things that go in a Y-block Ford V8. It just really says period correct for your car or for your truck. And it really makes your Y-block stand out in comparison to the run-of-the-mill engines that are crate motors these days. One more thing before we go, I want to say this. You can get good power out of a Y-block Ford V8 engine. Listen, I know there's trolls out there. They've been trolling some of the videos I've put out that list the facts about the Y-block Ford V8. But it is very possible, and it's not that difficult to do. If you look on John Mumbert's channel, look on Tim McMaster's channel, or maybe even here at Hot Rod Reverend, and go through all the videos that we have, especially with the build. When we get up with Tim McMaster in Hanford, California, we do some things and show you a few tricks here and there. Tim's just a whiz with that kind of idea. Of course, there's always Ted Eaton's website. In addition to the stock builds that Ted will do, Ted also has some great information on the performance because he'll show it on the dyno. And of course, we know Ted has also shown it on the track as well. So don't rule out the Y-block to be a high-performance engine. Back in the 50s, 56 and 57, Ford dominated NASCAR. I don't care what the trolls say when they look at the video. I'll leave a link in the description below. You need to watch that video if you don't know anything about the Y-block Ford. I recently found some things here about a NASCAR race in 1956 at Willow Springs. It's about 30 minutes from me. It's a road course. It's where Ford and Ferrari, that movie, did a lot of filming out there. And we're very close to, we're in LA County. We're very close to Hollywood, where I live, maybe about an hour away or so. And I found out in 1956, top 3, first, second, and third, were all Y-block Ford powered cars in 1956 that won that NASCAR race. You can't tell me you can't get power out of a Ford Y-block. I don't care what the guys say who troll the comments. Well, guys, that's all we have time for today. I want to thank you for joining us here at the Hot Rod Reverend channel. I do want to remind you about this. We're having a giveaway for an original 1957 Ford 4-barrel ECZ 9425B cast iron intake manifold. We've got less than a week left. Very easy to enter. We're going to put the link in the description below. Click on that. Read the rules as well. You do have to be a subscriber here to the YouTube channel. You also need to be a subscriber to hotrodreverend.com and sign up to get that blog. There's more entries that you can get beyond just signing up as well. There's no cost to you, no purchase necessary. This is something that is solely supported, solely funded by Hot Rod Reverend here, the channel. And then number 2, YouTube, Meta, nobody else is involved in this. This is solely a giveaway that we're doing here at the channel by yours truly. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, hotrodreverend.com. Find out why I am called the Hot Rod Reverend. I am an owner here of this 1955 Ford Fairlane Club sedan. This thing sounds great. Got a set of glass packs on it. Obviously, I like hot rodding around, but most importantly, I am a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Hope you'll visit the pages that are called Remember on the website. Read through that. Read through the scriptures there. I want to encourage you, too, to join us each Wednesday when we have our Bible study. 10-15 minutes or so right here in the garage. Wednesdays in the Word each week. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.